Now can they muster up a run to attack Haley? Here comes the 5 of the run off turn 2.
Ryan Blaney ahead of Custer, coming to the line. Ryan Blaney's gonna do it!
Ryan Blaney raced that night, and nothing was the same again. The race looked normal at first, but soon everything went wild. The crowd stared eyes wide as the last laps came. It wasn't only about who won. Something bigger was happening, and when people saw it, it was already too late. Ryan Blaney wasn't just racing for a trophy at Daytona, he was racing to prove something. And when the checkered flag dropped at the Coke Zero Sugar 400, he did more than win. He made a statement. The last race of the NASCAR regular season is always full of big moments, but this one was extra wild. Many drivers were trying hard to make the playoffs, and things got intense. Ryan Blaney came out of the madness in a way no one expected. In the final laps, it wasn't just a win. It was a perfect mix of smart moves, patience, and bravery. It was a masterpiece of timing, patience, and sheer guts. With 2 laps left, Blaney was not even in the top 5. He was back in 12th or 13th place and looked like he had no chance. The race was close, the pressure was high, and the usual Daytona chaos was coming. Then something amazing happened. Blaney found a tiny gap in a 4-wide pack and made one of the best moves of the year. When he crossed the finish line, it wasn't by a wide margin. In fact, it took a photo finish to confirm what fans in the stands had just witnessed. Blaney beat Daniel Suárez by a razor-thin 0.031 seconds, with Justin Haley and Cole Custer right behind in one of the tightest finishes of the season. Blaney didn't just survive Daytona, he dominated it in the most dramatic way possible. But the real drama wasn't just at the front of the pack. Behind the leaders, playoff dreams were on the line. Alex Bowman, who had started on the front row after qualifying was rained out, had wrecked early in Stage 1. For nearly 3 hours, he waited nervously in the garage, watching the race unfold with one eye on the leaderboard and the other on the playoff cutoff line. For Bowman, everything depended on who won the race. If someone who hadn't won a race all year got the win, Bowman would miss the playoffs. Blaney's win didn't just help himself, it also helped Bowman. If Suárez or Custer had won, Bowman would have been knocked out, and the playoff lineup would have changed completely. As the race ended, Bowman's relief was visible. He joked afterward that he owed Blaney more than just a thank you. It wasn't just a matter of friendship or team allegiance, this was career survival in a sport where every second counts. Tyler Reddick was another beneficiary, clinching the final playoff spot alongside Bowman.
Oh, I'll take $5 million. Save him some money, I'll take $5 million. But yeah, someone told me that he got in because I won, right? Like if the 41, the 7, 99 would have won, he would have been out. Really? Well, I'll take that offer. I do need a refill if he's still here. I can.
The implications of Blaney's win went far beyond just the standings. It marked his 15th Career Cup Series win, his 2nd of the 2025 season, and his 2nd at Daytona, the first coming back in 2021. But what stood out wasn't the stats. It was the way he won. There was no massive wreck in the final lap, no desperate blocks or out-of-control maneuvers. Blaney praised the field for racing cleanly and smartly, especially in a setting that's known for chaos. Even when Justin Haley bumped Cole Custer near the end, it didn't turn into disaster. Instead, it cleared a path for Blaney to surge forward.
Yeah, I thought they raced really smart and well and didn't throw their cars in any foolish situations. I thought everyone did a great job of just having a great race, but also, keeping it clean as well. So I think props to everybody where you didn't have a guy that needed to win. That was just an absolute hammer out there.
That respect on the track made the finish all the more impressive. It wasn't just a win earned through luck or someone else's mistake. It was clean, calculated, and fierce. That kind of control in a high-stakes moment is what separates good drivers from great ones. For Team Penske, Blaney's win was a much-needed breakthrough. It snapped an 11-week winless streak for the organization and reasserted them as a serious threat heading into the playoffs. Penske has always performed well in the postseason, especially in the next-gen era, and Blaney's recent form suggests they're peaking at just the right time. Blaney's momentum isn't just built on one race. The Daytona win was his 6th consecutive top 10 finish. In total, he's logged 14 top 10s this season, with 10 top 5s and an average finish around 15.3. That kind of consistency is rare, especially in a season that's been dominated by unpredictability and narrow margins. Currently sitting 4th in the overall driver standings, Blaney is just 6 points behind the leader. And while points tell one story, the eye test tells another. Blaney looks confident, composed, and most importantly, fast. When a driver finds that rhythm late in the season, it often signals something special brewing. The timing couldn't be better. The win at Daytona wasn't just a boost in the standings, it was a psychological edge. It sent a message to the rest of the field. Blaney isn't just here to participate in the playoffs, he's here to win them. And this wasn't some fluke. Blaney has a history of showing up when it counts. His 2023 and 2024 seasons had plenty of flashes, but this year he seems to be putting it all together. With 2 wins already and a run of top 10s under his belt, he's coming into form exactly when it matters most. His crew chief and team have been locked in as well. The car setup at Daytona was on point, and the pit strategy was flawless. There were no costly errors, no missed calls, just execution. And when you combine a driver on a hot streak with a team that's dialed in, you get what we saw on Saturday night, domination. Looking ahead, the rest of the playoff field has their work cut out. Drivers like William Byron, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Larson may have strong seasons behind them, but Blaney's current pace makes him a clear front-runner. The question now is whether he can carry this momentum through the grueling rounds of playoff racing. If history is any indicator, he's got more than a shot. Blaney's track record at upcoming venues like Talladega, Martinsville, and Phoenix shows he's capable of navigating both the chaos of superspeedways and the precision required at short tracks. And with confidence running high, he may be unstoppable. Even more impressive is how Blaney has managed to adapt to different track types this season. Whether it's short tracks, intermediates, or superspeedways, he has shown versatility. That flexibility is a major asset heading into the playoffs, where every week brings a new challenge. Behind the wheel, Blaney has looked more composed than ever. His communication with his team is crisp, his in-race decisions are sharp, and his ability to stay out of trouble while capitalizing on opportunities is elite. This combination of skill, experience, and poise is what championship runs are made of. This wasn't just a win at Daytona, it was a declaration. Ryan Blaney is no longer the underdog or the quiet contender. He's the driver to beat. As the NASCAR playoffs loom, one thing is certain. Anyone who wants the cup will have to go through Ryan Blaney to get it.
He could make it through that first round. And why would you bet against him? Why would you not pick him on a road course? I don't know.
They're mad at SVG for winning 4 races.
Shane Van Gisbergen shocked the world in 2025. A rookie who was already a champion in another sport stepped into NASCAR and started making waves right away. He's only been racing for a short time, but he's already turning heads. But here's the big question. Can he really make it to the playoffs? The countdown is on, and what happens next will leave you speechless. Don't miss out. In NASCAR, Kevin Harvick is one of the most respected drivers. As a former champion, his opinions on new drivers are highly valued. Recently, he shared his thoughts on Shane Van Gisbergen, a New Zealand racer making waves in the NASCAR Cup Series. Harvick's comments have sparked discussions about Van Gisbergen's chances in the playoffs. The big question now is, can the Supercars champion turn his strong performances into a playoff run for the championship? Shane Van Gisbergen made a big decision to join NASCAR. He was already a champion in Australia's Supercars championship, but he wanted a new challenge in one of the best racing series in the world. Moving to NASCAR, especially the Cup Series, got a lot of attention. NASCAR's oval races are tough, especially for someone used to road racing, but Van Gisbergen didn't let that stop him. His goal was clear: show he could succeed in NASCAR, even if it took time and hard work. In 2025, Van Gisbergen made big progress. He won 4 road course races, which helped him get into the NASCAR playoffs. Road courses are where he's always been strong thanks to his Supercars experience, and he quickly showed he could race well on these tracks in NASCAR. But people were still curious about what he would do on oval tracks. The real challenge for him was whether he could take his road course success and use it in the fast, high-pressure world of NASCAR ovals. Oval racing is a key part of NASCAR, and it takes time to master. For Van Gisbergen, Racing on NASCAR's oval tracks was a big challenge. His first goal was to show he could handle the high speeds and sharp turns that are common on these tracks. One of Van Gisbergen's biggest achievements in 2025 came at Richmond Raceway, where he finished 14th, his best result on an oval track that season. While 14th place isn't a win, it showed progress. In NASCAR, being consistent is key, and this result proved Van Gisbergen was getting better at oval racing. Kevin Harvick, with his years of experience in NASCAR, shared his thoughts on Van Gisbergen's performance at Richmond. Harvick praised Van Gisbergen for handling pressure well. He noted that finishing 14th, while not a win, was an important step forward. Harvick pointed out that finishing consistently between 14th and 18th is key to moving forward in the playoffs. These finishes could help Van Gisbergen get enough points to stay in the playoff race. Harvick stressed that consistency is key in NASCAR, especially in the playoffs. It's not just about winning, but managing finishes. Van Gisbergen's steady performances in the 14th to 18th range during the regular season give him a solid base for the playoffs. If he keeps delivering these results, he'll be in a strong position to advance. As the NASCAR playoffs approach, Harvick's confidence in Van Gisbergen has grown. He believes Van Gisbergen can go far, but it will take time and focus. Harvick said the key is staying consistent and avoiding mistakes that could end his season early. With his experience, Harvick knows that in the playoffs, consistency is what helps drivers make it to the final rounds. If Van Gisbergen keeps performing well, he has a good chance to go far. Van Gisbergen's strong points position gives him a big advantage for the playoffs. With 4 wins on road courses, he's secured his spot and can focus on strategy. Key races like the Charlotte Roval, which combines road and oval racing, could be where he really stands out. Harvick himself expressed his belief that the Roval could be a decisive factor in Van Gisbergen's playoff journey. Harvick explained that the Roval presents a unique challenge, combining tight road course turns with the speed and intensity of an oval race. This track could play to Van Gisbergen's strengths, allowing him to showcase his adaptability and skill on a course that demands both precision and speed. If Van Gisbergen were to perform well at the Roval, it could propel him into the round of 8, giving him a real shot at the championship. Harvick emphasized that while the playoffs are unpredictable, the Roval is a race that could tip the balance in Van Gisbergen's favor. If he can manage to stay consistent in the first few rounds and then perform well at the Roval, Van Gisbergen could find himself in a strong position to fight for the title. One of the most impressive aspects of Van Gisbergen's rookie season in NASCAR has been his ability to adapt. Coming from a background in road racing, he was initially seen as a road course specialist, but he quickly demonstrated that he could compete on oval tracks as well. His 14th place finish at Richmond was a testament to his growing comfort with NASCAR's oval racing format. Harvick praised Van Gisbergen for his ability to adjust and learn quickly. He noted that Van Gisbergen's transition to NASCAR was faster than many expected. Adapting to NASCAR's oval tracks is no easy feat, but Van Gisbergen's resilience and willingness to learn have allowed him to improve with each race. This adaptability, Harvick suggested, is what will allow Van Gisbergen to thrive in the NASCAR Cup Series, even as he faces new challenges in the playoffs.
And I can't see very well anymore, but I can hear pretty well.
Yeah.
And when I heard the pipe seal off, I'm like, I've got no room out there. And he pinched me down and drove off.
Harvick mentioned that many drivers struggle with NASCAR's unique racing, but Van Gisbergen has quickly adapted. His calmness under pressure and skills on ovals set him apart. With wins on road courses and steady progress on ovals, Van Gisbergen has shown he can compete at the highest level. As the playoffs approach, everyone is watching to see how far this talented New Zealand driver can go. Harvick's support shows Van Gisbergen has the potential to fight for the championship. His strong performances and growth give Harvick confidence. If Van Gisbergen keeps improving and handles playoff pressure, he could go far. The key to success will be consistency. Staying focused and finishing well in every race will decide if he makes it to the final rounds of the playoffs.
You know, the cars and everything, it seems like it is slowed.
And we had another capacity crowd. Races were 3 weeks apart because we put the schedule together with Colorado National Speedway late. Those fans are starving for more. They absolutely love their little short track that they have there. So 11,000 plus both races.
The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs are shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory. With Van Gisbergen making waves in his rookie season and other drivers vying for the championship, the postseason promises to deliver drama, excitement, and surprises. Kevin Harvick's endorsement of Van Gisbergen has only added fuel to the fire, with many now watching closely to see how far the New Zealand driver can go. If Van Gisbergen continues to perform well on both road courses and ovals, he could be a strong playoff contender. His success so far puts him in a good position for a deep run. The upcoming races will be crucial, and how he handles pressure will decide his fate. With Harvick's support, Van Gisbergen could be a dark horse for the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series title.
And in his 25th NASCAR Winston Cup race, Tony Stewart wins at Richmond International Raceway.
Tony Stewart did something strange after winning a big NASCAR race. He didn't smile, he didn't cheer, he looked serious. Then he said something that shocked everyone listening. At the time, people didn't understand what he meant. But now, 23 years later, what he said is finally starting to make sense. Right after winning a race in May of 2002 at Richmond Raceway, Tony Stewart didn't celebrate. Instead, he gave a serious warning that many people didn't understand at the time. His words didn't make big news back then, but now, 23 years later, they seem to explain why NASCAR is losing fans. Back in 2002, Tony Stewart didn't hold back. Fresh off a win at Richmond Raceway, he delivered a post-race message that hit harder than his final laps. Stewart wasn't basking in the glory of victory. Instead, he issued a warning to NASCAR that, at the time, sounded more like a frustrated rant. But now, more than 2 decades later, that message feels like a chilling prophecy. If this doesn't get better, Stewart said, race fans are going to quit coming. He was talking about how NASCAR cars were starting to rely too much on aerodynamics. Even back then, Stewart noticed that clean air was becoming too important. This made it harder for drivers to pass each other and made the races less exciting. Fans weren't seeing close finishes or surprises anymore. Stewart knew this would slowly hurt the sport if things didn't change. It wasn't just a moment of heat. Stewart's concern came from a deep understanding of racing's pulse. And as we look at NASCAR today, with the next-gen car and modern race dynamics, it turns out he was absolutely right. NASCAR's goal with the next-gen car was to level the playing field, control costs, and bring parity to the grid. On paper, it checked all those boxes. But on the track, it brought unintended consequences that echoed Stewart's warning. Clean air still dominates. Passing remains difficult, and in too many races, fans know who the winner will be well before the checkered flag. One of the most glaring examples came at Bristol. Tires barely wore down. Lap times remained virtually identical, and Kyle Larson led a staggering 411 of 500 laps. That kind of dominance used to be rare. Now, it happens too often because the cars behind can't get close enough to challenge. When tires don't degrade and cars can't pass, the drama disappears. Fans aren't watching battles for position. They're watching parades. Even worse, these problems aren't just showing up at a few tracks, they're spreading. Short tracks, road courses, even some super speedways are seeing the same pattern. Fast cars up front, clean air advantage, and very little movement through the field. The result? Fans leaving early, switching channels, or not tuning in at all. Because when the outcome feels set from the start, the thrill of the race is gone. And it's not just fans noticing. Drivers and analysts are speaking out. Dale Earnhardt Jr. compared the new cars to IMSA machines. I don't love the next-gen car. It's an IMSA car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. said in a statement. Kyle Petty went further, claiming NASCAR hasn't fielded real stock cars since the 1950s. That might sound extreme, but it reflects a growing sentiment. The essence of NASCAR is being lost. Tony Stewart saw that danger early. He wasn't complaining about safety or modernization. He was fighting for the kind of racing that built the sport's fan base, gritty, unpredictable, and full of moments that made fans jump out of their seats. That kind of racing doesn't come from clean air and perfect setups. It comes from worn tires, bold moves, and drivers being forced to adapt on the fly. Which brings us back to Richmond, the same track where Stewart made his warning all those years ago. In 2025, Richmond hosted the Cookout 400, and for the first time in a while, the race gave fans something to cheer about. The difference? NASCAR introduced more aggressive option tires. These tires degraded faster, which meant teams had to think on their feet. Pit strategy mattered again. Drivers had to manage their cars differently, and the race saw multiple lead changes.
Listen to that crowd. They know it's time to bring the action. Some Saturday night short track racing. The Cookout 400 here in Richmond is underway, and the poleman Ryan Preece leads the field. Let's go!
Austin Dillon emerged as the surprise winner. That kind of upset is exactly what NASCAR needs more of. It's the kind of finish that keeps fans engaged and talking after the race ends. And it only happened because the tires added back an essential ingredient: unpredictability.
There's no contact this year. It's all Austin Dillon. He's going to the playoffs.
Let's go, baby! Who is your daddy? Let's go!
Austin Dillon wins in Richmond.
It proves that the problem isn't unsolvable. The excitement didn't vanish because fans changed. It faded because the cars stopped creating those unpredictable moments. When every car runs the same speed and every driver relies on clean air, the only variable left is luck. And fans don't tune in for luck. They tune in for racing. And when racing becomes predictable, something bigger is at stake. It's not just about one race being boring. It's about seasons losing energy, rivalries fizzling out, storylines that once fueled headlines now fall flat.